Two more to go. We are at this for 3.5 hours, but we have some really quality SCPs today. We had that. This is. I hope the next 10 tomorrow, the last 10 of the 1000s, will keep this up, because this will be a beautiful way to end it all. But now we got Respiration, a much shorter one than all the other ones before, which I'm glad about. This is the lowest rated one so far. Euclid, as SCP-1988 is spread by residents, relocation agents embedded in real estate firms in Chicago, Illinois, Dover. What's D again? See, I'm sorry. For everybody who lives in the US, I am sorry that I don't know this, because I feel like this is something like very basic to know. So yeah, I do apologize. In Portland, ME, I'll do artificially alter the market such that it becomes an unfavorable decision to relocate out of the city. A budget is to be allocated for the purpose of advertising a telephone hotline in these cities for civilians to report faulty hardware, appliances, and installation in their houses. In addition, the satellites are to monitor these cities for abnormal increases in carbon dioxide emissions. When an infected house is discovered, the occupants have to be relocated to the new house that was constructed after 1971. Occupants are to be given vouchers on newly manufactured energy-efficient appliances under the artifice of a government program. The old property is then to be claimed and redeveloped for civilian use. No part of the redeveloped property is to have been constructed before 1971. Description: SCP-1988 is a communicable infection of bioarchitectural nature that affects houses built before 1971. It is largely geographically confined to Chicago, Illinois, and its suburbs, but outbreaks have been reported to Dover, Delaware, and Maine. Okay, that's what. Maine is ME? Not MA? That's weird. Delaware and Portland, Maine. It is spread by relocating from an infected house to an uninfected house by the house. What? Let me read that again. It is spread by relocating from an infected house to an uninfected house by the house occupants. Okay, so the person goes to an infected house, gets attached to whatever the SCP is, and then goes to his house, or her house, or their house, and then infects their own house. Gotcha. Whether or not the occupants themselves are the causative factor is not possible to determine. SCP-1... There we go. SCP-1988 affects a house in 3 stages. Stage 1 is typically begins within 120 days of a house being occupied. In Stage 1, the house acquires noticeable drafts or cold spots. Oh no, if I had that happening to me, I'd be like, oh fuck, my house is haunted. Doors and windows in general may become difficult to open or close, and may occasionally open and close by themselves. Yeah, I mean, you think the house is haunted. Metal doors and windows begin to cyclically heat up and cool down. Wooden doors and windows alternate between decreasing and increasing in size. Okay, I would think my house is haunted and I'm high as hell. I don't do drugs, but that would be the moment where I'd be like, okay, did somebody spike my food? I'd be like, what the fuck is happening? This would normally occur on a seasonal scale with annually changing temperature and pressure. However, each cycle takes place in a matter of hours. Eventually, the cycles of the doors and windows synchronize across the whole house. This leads to Stage 2. In Stage 2, electrical appliances and plumbing begin to malfunction. Short circuits and burnt fuses are common. Heat transfer appliances such as refrigerators and ovens will begin to reverse or otherwise change the direction in which they transfer the heat. Drains and faucets may become clogged with no discernible physical explanation. At this stage, the occupants of the house will definitely become aware of the house's abnormal behavior. In virtually all cases, they will decide to relocate to another residence in one of the other 2 affected cities. The relocation of the occupants leads to Stage 3. In Stage 3, the insulation, wiring, and plumbing of the house are gradually transfigured by an unidentified process of structural decay into a highly complex system of living. Functional biological organs resembling the lungs, bronchial tubes, and alveoli of various mammalian species. found to correspond to any mammalian species that lived in the house prior to the onset of stage 3. So basically it becomes Monster House. Remember that movie? It basically just becomes this. Hey, I appreciate Monster House inspiration or reference, even if it's not that. In my head it is, and I appreciate it nonetheless. Faucets, drains, and electrical outlets become trachea-like organs to interface with the house rooms. Electrical devices that are plugged into outlets are ejected in the process. Hey, my phone was charging though. Although the organs are not visible without opening the walls, the house now demonstrably breathes, increasing and decreasing in size by roughly 5 cm per cycle. The interior of the house fills with carbon dioxide periodically, which is then released through the autonomous operative windows and doors and replaced with oxygen from outside. So it actually becomes a living being. This leads to buildup of greenhouse gases. Yeah, true. An extreme buildup, because it's the size of a house, which in turn spurs the rapid growth of additional plant life. However, the dramatic rate of increase in plant life surrounding infected houses does not appear to be fully explained by the rate of carbon dioxide production. The progression of SCP-1988 symptoms have been found to be somewhat dependent on the occupant's knowledge of the house's abnormal behavior. If an occupant is unaware or unable to remember that there is anything out of the ordinary, the symptoms will not move past stage 2, and with time they will regress and cease. This was discovered when an elderly man with Alzheimer's syndrome returned to his infected house in Chicago after initially leaving to relocate to Dover, and the symptoms of SCP-1988 infection have been completely eradicated. So if you, the less you pay attention to it, the less it has power. So it's a fairy. You gotta believe in it. You gotta believe in the fairies. Initial point of infection was traced to a house in Park Ridge, Illinois, which was the childhood home of, but no connection has been established. Neither the causative factor behind SCP-1988 nor the reason why only Chicago, Dover, and Portland are affected is yet unknown. Addendum: on 2000, roughly 10 years after initial documentation of SCP-1988, a change in the parameters of the anomaly was noted. SCP-1988 now affects not only houses built before 1961, but others built in the 10 years after such a date as well. That's why I changed to 71. It's getting stronger as it breathes. Okay. I mean, part of me was about to say maybe I understand why it's low rated, because it's it seems to be a normal haunting with doors open, closes, and cold spots. But then the fact that the house itself actually becomes a living being, that's pretty dope. And again, it reminds me of Monster House, which I really respect. I do like that. I do like a little bit of Monster House, And Respiration is a good title for it, because it's breathing. It's becoming a living, breathing being.